Hi, my next YouTube video is gonna be random thoughts I have recorded sporadically. Right now, I really wish that I was a little grub. I'm thinking of the little grub from Teen Titans Go. I just think it would feel really good to be that creature. It just looks so happy. That's the end of my thought. Was banned in Tennessee. Even the, like, fake weed. Even the fake weed. I've had to clean my apartment for around 3 or so months now, and I just can't do it because every time I go to clean my apartment, I think about how everyone I know has people that they live with that they can, like, split the burden with. And I just, like, become aware of the deafening silence of my house. Like, especially since school let out, too, nobody lives down here. Like, it's a ghost town. I haven't passed somebody on the sidewalk since school let out. And I'm kind of actually going a little bit crazy. Like, oh. Just that. It's that, like, even if the person isn't necessarily helping you clean at the moment, they're still there. You can still kind of hear them taking part in living, like, in your house. You can hear them move around. You can talk to them. Imagine that. And it's just kind of like, I hate when I get in this mindset of like, well, what did I do to deserve this? Because, like, there are people that suffer more than me, quite obviously. Like, my life has improved so much. So much. My life has improved so much. So much. It really has, though. And I just have to remind myself how bad it actually can get. But, like, oh my God, do I just wish that I had a roommate. Or, honestly, I just wish that life had granted me the opportunity to have friends for longer than I've had them, since, you know, I was put in such close proximity with such wretched creatures that are vile and disgusting and that betrayed me. But I also love who I am and I love who I've become, you know? And I really miss weed. Like, I do, I miss weed. I miss it a lot. Does anybody else ever feel like they've lived multiple lives and, like, the crushing weight of it is too much for the human mind, or is that just me? I know it's not. I know it's not just me because well, I was going to say that I've been all of you guys, but I really genuinely feel like I have, and I'm dead cold sober right now. I might be getting manic. Ooh. You know, I say these things, but really, when I get manic, and manic usually is, like, these days what others would label, like, a low-key delusion, probably, but I just get really... It's not like my beliefs... My worldview changes all the time. Like, I feel like the only consistent thing about me is that I'm always changing. And it's almost like... It's hard to find other people that are also always changing, but changing in a way that they are shaping themselves. Like, I sculpt myself. Like, and I think that it is because I've been so alone my whole life that, like, when you don't have somebody else to bounce ideas off of, all you have is yourself. And you can only really, like, think and do the same thing for so long before you get sick of yourself. And therefore change. And I just wish that I could meet somebody else that was similar in that way, that kind of, like, chooses self-improvement and chooses to, like, I just feel like it's, and I feel like an asshole saying this, but I really feel like it's true. It's just hard to meet people that really think. It's hard to find other human beings that actually ponder. And then even the ones that are like, oh, I'm the ponderer, I'm the thinker, I think. And it's just like, you're just regurgitating. I've seen the same reels as you, dude. I'm unemployed and I stay at my house all the time. I've seen the same reels that you are repeating word for word, acting like you're educated on a topic. I need somebody, like, I feel like an asshole, but it's so true. It's so true. Where are you thinkers at? Where are the thought daughter? Like, and on top of that, to find this type of person and also find them in lesbian form, and not only that, but in lesbian form that is willing to date somebody that is weird about gender. And I just feel like, what are the odds? Because everybody I know that has, like, gotten into a relationship, they just kind of fallen into the relationship, right? And, but what I mean is that my friend Ruby, basically, she met her boyfriend because our mutual friend set them up, right? That mutual friend has a husband that he has been with since high school. My friend Katrina also with her boyfriend since high school. And it's like, you meet these people in settings that you're forced to be in, or that just kind of land in your lap, you know? And the people that I was forced to be around were not good people. Like, it's honestly baffling to me. And even the ones that maybe they were good people, like, I don't know them as much, like, I never got a chance to know them like that because of the horrible people that surrounded me, not by my choice. And I'm just kind of jealous of, like, the pure fate aspect that happens in so many relationships where it's just, like, they're just there. Like, I don't have anybody in my life that's just there that, like, I would want to pursue romantically. Like, like, I'm not even put into positions to meet new people on a regular basis. I have school, and oh my God, do I try to make friends at school? Do I try? And it's like, nobody gives a fuck. It's like nobody else even wants to make friends. Or maybe it's something about me specifically, like people don't want the type of person that I am as a friend. I really don't know, because I really do try, and I do absolutely everything that I would like somebody to do to, like, notify me that they want to be my friend. I message first, I make plans, I say hi every day, I sit in close proximity, I make conversation, I compliment, like, and when I tell you I get nothing back from anyone, and I'm not overwriting it either. I'm pacing myself, I'm not love bombing, I'm being a normal ass person, and I know that I'm being a normal ass person because in the past I definitely wasn't a normal ass person. When I tell you I work on myself, I know that I am being a regular ass human being in pursuit of friends. But it truly feels as though no one out there, no one is down for that. And I don't know why. And if I can't even make new friends, how are we getting a lover? You know? And it's not even like I really want, like, I just honestly want somebody to just hang out with me, like, every single day. The way that everyone in my life has someone that just by default will tolerate them and talk to them and say, I love you. You know, like, I don't have that. I don't get hugs, you know? I don't get to cuddle on the couch. And I'm really, like, I'm so touch starved. It's honestly disgusting. Like, when friends put their hands on my shoulder, like, for 5 seconds talking to me, like, it's pure ecstasy. Let me tell you, like, all I want is human contact. I've also been thinking a lot lately about how, like, all of existence is kind of, like, in this constant cycle of creation and destruction. And it brings me a lot of comfort because when you think about it, literally no matter what happens, no matter, like, if all of humanity goes extinct, if the earth blows up and the whole solar system collapses and the Milky Way gets blown the fuck away because like some giant alien is dusting their shelf or some shit, like, there's always gonna be more outside of that. Like, even after everything is destroyed, there's still the debris. And the debris is gonna come back and do some other shit. Even if it's, like, not perceptible to anything. There's always gonna be more out there, you know? And I think that consciousness is a beautiful thing, and it's amazing. But I don't think that the existence of non-conscious things is lesser than the existence of conscious things, you know? Like, I think that the interesting, like, oh my goodness, the universe could be just as interesting and complex if there was nothing there to actually witness it. But really, in my belief system, there is no existence without perception. I do believe that there is some sort of force behind everything that is the stuff, you know, like the way I look at the Big Bang is kind of like when a black hole collapses, or when a star collapses and becomes a black hole, it's like the density is so much that it collapses in on itself. Like, that's just so much stuff compacted that it becomes a whole, like a nothing. Like, I'm saying this in such shit terms because I'm really not educated on this stuff. I'm talking in metaphors, okay? But also somewhat in literality, because I also think that those are very connected. But I'm not wording myself well. Well, I need to stop saying that because I think I do word myself well. It's just I need to find some bitches that can comprehend me, is really the thing. I just want to make sense to somebody. Like, I really just wish that there was somebody out there that just got me. Just, like, know exactly what I'm trying to say. I also feel like love is inseparable from pain, in that when I think of how much I love anybody, I literally register it as a physical pain in my body. Like, if I truly, truly love something or someone, it's almost like feeling possessed. And I've gotten better about this to where this emotion doesn't like flood me and take me over completely. But if I let myself think about it, it's just like, I wish I could explain. It's like my body goes cold on the outside, but on the inside, it's like a hot core, like an Arctic Earth with like the molten core. And I get these shivers, and my chest gets this sort of tingling feeling kind of right behind my sternum. And it almost feels like anxiety, but it's different. It's like a softer tingle. It's like, anxiety is kind of like a tingle you get from scratching the inside of your ear really hard. The love tingle is more like someone softly blowing on your skin, if that makes sense. But it's internal. And I get this sort of excitable feeling, like I feel like I just want to jump around and scream and just, you know? And I want to so viscerally express how much I love my friends. Like, it takes over my body and mind. And like, sometimes I just sit there in the darkness of my room and I just cry and cry over how much I love my friends. I love my friends. I love them. But at the same time, I wouldn't call that a pleasant emotion. And I also believe that love is the choices you make to continue to be in someone's life, like the boundaries you set up and the things you do for the other. And it's like, love isn't just an emotion. It's like this whole system. Yeah, that's the best word for it. It's a system. Like, love is a system that you can work within, or experience. And I'm trying to figure out why it's so painful. And I think it has something to do with, like, it's almost low-key maternal. It's like a desire to protect something and to witness it for all that it is. It's like finding, the way I think of my friends is like finding this amazing, like, perfect flower, like, glowing and shit in the middle of, like, a wasteland with a bunch of dead bodies, right? And all you want to do is just sit down in the middle and, like, put yourself over this flower so that, like, it won't be harmed in the chaos that surrounds you. And it's like this desire, like, I wish everyone could see this flower. I wish everyone could know, like, how beautiful and perfect this thing is. And maybe it's the awareness of knowing that something so pure and amazing and just everything just wholesome and good can exist in a world that's so shit sometimes, and that on top of that, like, so many people in the world won't even know that something so amazing exists, and you get the privilege to know something so, like, fragile and beautiful and rare. It's like I can't even express. It's almost like mourning all of the suffering that your friend has to endure, and also mourning that they even have to be here on earth, kind of. It's kind of like, why is an angel down here in hell? You know what I mean? That's sort of like the pain I feel when I think about how much I love my friends. I love my friends. Sometimes, too, I think about the people that used to be in my life. And I really do think about how much I would love to have a friend like me. And how much those bitches missed out is all I have to say. Because I'm a really, really good friend. And all of my friends are so good to me. Oh, you bitches wish. Can I remind you guys of Jake the dog? Be honest in the comments. If you comment anything on this video, do I remind you, like, minus the hat, do I give Jake vibes? Do I give Jake the dog vibes to you? It's an underappreciated Adventure Time character. Fucking Jermaine. I love Jermaine. And his arc was so underrated. I'm honestly pissed that he only got, like, an episode or two, because I love Jermaine. Honestly, between the brothers, if I had to pick, I definitely relate to Jermaine more. He is so me. He is... I do have that desire to conserve and preserve and keep and hoard, because I have so much love for so many things. And I'm also very sentimental, and I have a lot of respect for the past, because I do believe that the past is literally kind of like a parental figure. Like, the past is your parent. The past is what built you, you know? And so I kind of, like, I have this emotional attachment to items. And him, like, staying behind, totally alone, isolated from the rest of his family, to stay in his dead parents' house just to watch over their shit and guard it from all these demons, like, that... Yeah, I get you. I understand. I understand that. And, you know, we all talk about in the fandom how Finn and Jake's relationship is, like, oh, so wholesome and sweet. Oh, they're, like, best friends. They find each other in every lifetime. Best brothers. And everyone forgets about Jermaine. Like... I don't know. It gets to me. It gets to me how, like, we rarely ever see Finn and Jake visit. Like, he's hardly ever in any flashback scenes. I just feel that Jermaine is neglected. And maybe that's projecting. Most likely. But I love Jermaine. I'm thinking now about this one time as a kid. I've always been obsessed with Adventure Time. Sorry, sometimes I get too many thoughts at once. I've always been obsessed with Adventure Time, and there was this one time with my mom, because I think, like, periodically throughout my childhood, my mom would kind of get weird about me watching Adventure Time, because she'd walk in and there'd be, like, an episode with, like, demons or witchcraft or some shit, and she'd be like, no more Adventure Time, but it kind of, that role always slowly got forgotten. That was maybe, like, the one only rule that I would repeatedly break, is, like, when my parents were like, you can't watch Adventure, I was always watching it. I never stopped watching Adventure Time. That shit. Anyways, the story was, basically, I was trying to explain to my mother how important Adventure Time was to me, and so I said to her, I looked her in the eyes, and I said, Mom, you don't get it. Adventure Time to me is like how the Bible is for you. And to this day, that's still true. The Adventure Time is my Bible. There's so many good moral episodes, so many good philosophical episodes. Like, genuinely, so much of my worldview sprung out of Adventure Time. And sprung out of me being totally alone and being home alone all the time with my fucking Adventure Time DVD collection and just watching the episodes over and over. And when the episodes were over, Wikipedia page, Wikipedia. When that was enough, I would go to my journal and I would summarize the entire show in my little journal. Beat for beat, episode for episode, every single plot point. Like, Adventure Time truly was my brother, my sister, my uncle, my aunt, my mom, my dad, and my cousin. Like, I live and breathe. Anyways, I just think that's kind of funny. I love just sitting here and pondering things I love. The turmoil, you know? Because the more I think about it, the more it is really like pure ecstasy cannot exist without its equal opposite, you know? And people can argue about, like, one of my main things when I came out of Christianity, like, late middle school, was that if God is a full, perfect, all-knowing, all-powerful being, he had the ability to create people that not only would have free will, free mind, and consciousness, but also the innate desire to do everything in alignment with how it should be. Like, is it not implied that God made the serpent? You know? And I just feel like that comes from, if the God of the Bible was like the real deal, then all of creation comes from literally the desire to watch something degrade from what it was meant to be. And allow that to happen because you want to watch that happen. And you want to enact punishment. Because if you're an all-powerful, all-knowing God, you could create a world in which none of this happened. If you're all-knowing, you knew this would happen. It doesn't make sense. What was my original point? All right, so, like, you could argue that, like, an existence in which pure, constant ecstasy is the always for everything that can experience ecstasy. But then when you actually go into that world, what would that actually look like, you know? What would those people have to compare to know that what they are experiencing is ecstasy? Like, obviously you couldn't get sick of it. Like, if pure joy and only positive things are all that exist, you couldn't get sick of how you were feeling. You couldn't get bored of it or crave something else to the point of pain. But what would really, like, go on? That's kind of like, that's a system that thrives on not changing. And I guess it is possible for something like that to exist. Probably. Maybe. I'm not sure if in this universe, with how things function here, it could exist, but, like, somewhere off in the unknown, I'm sure it could exist. But if you think about the universe and how we do live in something that is constantly changing through the act of self-creation and self-destruction over and over again, it's just kind of, It doesn't make sense for it to be any other way. It doesn't make sense for there to be no pain. Like, what do they call it? Like an ecosystem of fear? Fuck. Where basically, like, because the prey animals, so much of their life is governed by avoiding being eaten, all of the prey animals' grazing behavior and travel behavior, like where they shit and swim and drink and all that stuff, shapes the landscape around them. And from then on, the way these prey animals have shaped the landscape, that's going to affect how everything that lives in that area evolves from then on. And all of that comes from a bunch of animals being scared to die. But that's how all of life progresses. I don't know. I think I'm saying something really obvious. It's just, simple answers never seem like enough to me, because I feel like truth is, my cat is sneezing. Bless you, my love. I forgot what I was saying. So basically, we live in a system that is in constant entropy. And so obviously, in the laws of the universe that we experience, a system that thrives on staying the same all the time can't really exist here. I sometimes kind of think that I do wonder if the earth is like a prison, like in Gnosticism, because everything here is so determined on, like, evolution just seems so much like programming. If X happens, then Y, you know? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think that we are all in some sort of Gnostic hell. And it's either like, I could see it being a simulation, I could be it seeing, like, anything that we don't understand obviously gets thrown under, like, the spiritual or, paranormal, supernatural, whatever. But I think that there's something like that, where people are put here to either learn a lesson, or you can kind of choose to come here as, like, an experience, like a hyper-immersive storyline, like some sort of VR game or like a 4D movie, you know? Because that's what I feel like I've done. That's what I feel like I come down here for, is to have an experience. And I feel like I've had many lives. But I feel like there's a beyond somewhere where the laws of our universe, as we know it down here, aren't necessarily the same. I feel like there's a world where change isn't needed because you don't perceive time. The only reason we perceive change is because we perceive time. Maybe that's not true. Maybe change can exist without time. But I would argue that wouldn't be changing, that would be more like shifting. Because without time, it would imply all of it being at once. And I think there's a place where something along the lines of what we are, like maybe a soul or something, exists or existed or is existing at the same time in that other plane where change isn't needed, where everything sort of shifts in harmony, you know? And I think that down here is like kind of a reflection of that, because everything does change in accordance to what changes around it. But we're more bound by physical laws, if that makes sense, down here. And I know in my heart that there's another place. I know in my heart that there's another place. And I would love to know what your guys' thoughts on this are. Because I know a lot of people believe in like a heaven or an afterlife. I don't necessarily, I think that you could maybe perceive it that way, especially if you were put on Earth in sort of a prison situation and then you get freed. Or you could see it as heaven in a way that I think it's definitely the material conditions, or I guess immaterial conditions, are a lot better in the other place. I don't know, there's something in me, like something I just know. Kind of like I know up from down. It almost feels spatial in that way. Like awareness of myself on another plane. I know I sound so schizophrenic, but I mean, fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, fuck you. There is so much hate and evil in this world that it's really easy to get into the mindset that you being hateful and evil won't affect anybody else, or at least won't add too much to the already evilness of the world. And you may think that since evil was done to you, that gives you the right and the entitlement to enact evil onto others. And this can be in really small ways. For instance, you have a day in which everybody outside of your house is really rude to you, and you get the wrong order, and you get fired from your job, and somebody on the street beats you up. And then you go home, and you may not do anything equivalent to the people you live with, but maybe you're just kind of a bitch. That's a good example. But the fact is that every evil person throughout history has their reasons. And I guarantee you a lot of them is probably because of I was abused. My parents weren't there for me. I was bullied. If we look at Epshit, you got a fucked up dick and you're sad about it. Sad little wee man. And obviously we know where that has led him, on top of all of his privilege, obviously. The thing is that the tolerance of evil on a small scale seeds further evil in the future. It's a long chain of people being like, well, this happened to me, so now I get to do this. Because it's not fair that something negative happened to me and I don't get to do anything about it. But I feel that you kind of have to come to a point where you decide to be the bigger person. And being the bigger person doesn't feel good. And it's not going to feel any better the 100th time you decide to be the bigger person. It's probably always going to be hard, but it eventually gets easier. And that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It just means that you have to be dedicated to being a good person. And you have to actually try. And by try, I don't mean, I mean really try. Like, really, really try. Self-improvement has to be a lifelong dedication. You improve up until the point you literally keel over and die. And I feel like that's the only way to be. And it really upsets me that so many people just allow themselves to sink further into the shit that they hate. It's like people don't even realize there's other options. And I know that it feels so unfair to suffer so much and to see people that inflict suffering supposedly have these great lives because they have so much money or whatever, or so much privilege. But aspiring to have what these abusive, sick people have only repeats the cycle. And I think part of it is, to really improve yourself, you have to love yourself. And I don't think a lot of people love themselves. Excuse me. I would honestly go so far as to say I think that probably the majority of people don't love themselves. And I think the majority of people probably feel as though they don't have the energy to attempt even to get to the point of loving themselves. And I think that I have had that privilege in that how much time I've had to sit alone to think. I say this a lot. The amount of time that I've had to truly think without outside influences and to and maybe it is just what I'm naturally drawn to in terms of learning. Because I imagine if you're not naturally drawn towards learning new information, it can be hard to do this type of thing. But you really have to sit with yourself and come to know yourself truly, and come to know your flaws. And then before you even decide on fixing your flaws, you need to know where they come from and understand about yourself how you develop that way, and have compassion for yourself. The same way that your friends have flaws because of, whatever, like everybody has flaws. Your friend has flaws because of the things that have happened in their life, the brain that they are, and basically what I'm saying is, when you witness a flaw in your friend, and you know your friend, you know how that flaw came to be, and you love your friend despite that. And even beyond that, I love so much everything about my friends, that I love how their brains work, and I love how they problem solve, and I love how they develop. And I even love the traits about them that lead to their flaws. Because the majority of the time when you're a flawed individual, that flaw doesn't come from an outright desire to make life harder for people. It comes from a bunch of subconscious shit that you have to figure out. But basically what I'm saying is, once you do that, then you can understand how to transform your flaw into a strength. You can use the same reasoning that led you to the flaw to reason up a better solution. And once you've done that for yourself, you're kind of golden. From then on, if you have a problem, you have the tools you need to analyze the problem and improve it. And when you have the ability to do that within yourself, you have the patience and the ability to help others achieve that, so that you can be around a more diverse group of people, and things that maybe would have triggered you in the past won't as much anymore. You know how to handle it. And all of this is a lot of alone time, a lot of journaling, a lot of doing therapy on yourself. And I wish more people were willing to do that kind of thing. And I wonder, maybe, is it that people don't know how to do that kind of thing? I don't know. I used to really want to be a therapist so that I could help people through this type of stuff, but it seems, I wonder why my lighting is doing that, because I'm not moving. Isn't that weird? It just seems that a lot of people don't want to put in the work. And I understand that, because especially in the United States, that's all I know. That's all I have to reference. In the United States, it's exhausting to live here. It's exhausting. Oh my God. So I definitely get it. I just wish that people could sit with their own emotions enough to understand the gravity that every little thing they do affects their environment, and thus affects everyone around them. I don't know what it would take to convince people to just be kind. Because to me, it seems so fucking obvious that if we just all decided, you know, to be decent people, that things could work out better. And I just can't make myself believe that the majority of people aren't decent people. I don't know. I really don't know. Comment down below, are you a sinner or are you going to heaven? A sense that I find underrated is your sense of smell. I think the sense of smell and taste, my phone is so bright. The sense of smell and taste is so weird. Like, if you don't know, I don't see any colors. And no one has ever been able to explain a color to me in a way that I could imagine it. Like, I've never once ever seen a color. The cones or whatever in my eyes, they're there, but they're turned off. And I cannot conceive of what a color even is. And I'm thinking, if I never smelled or tasted anything, like, it's just so weird to think about how consciousness would develop, I guess, if you had no senses, no hearing, no sense of touch, taste, sight, temperature, or what is that, like periception, like the feeling of like your surroundings even without touching them. I don't know what that's called. If you had absolutely no way to perceive or experience, could you still be conscious? I think you could. I think you could definitely be conscious. I wonder what thoughts would be like. Would you be able to know that you exist? Or would that not matter? This is the kind of consciousness I think that, like, inanimate objects have. Which is, I guess consciousness wouldn't be the right word. Otherwise it would just be called consciousness. But this sort of like sub-awareness. The idea that you could experience something like thoughts or emotions without putting any sort of language or visual or like non-mental sensation. Like not attaching any of that to your thoughts. It would just be a pure consciousness. I wonder what that would be like. I wonder if... Would you be able to get bored? Because to think if you never had any stimulus to begin with, you couldn't miss any sort of stimulus. All you would have is your own thoughts. And they wouldn't even be determined by, like, anything outside of you. It's so weird to think about. Comment down below what you think different colors would taste like and get really specific with it. Like, I don't want, red tastes like cherry. No. I need you to get into tones, hues, like, I want something like, this specific hex code of light turquoise tastes like, I don't know, early 2000s candy cigarettes that got a little bit of dust on them or something. Like, I want specifics. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think that I would get enough for one video in one day, honestly. I planned this over the course of, I don't know, but I guess I just had a lot to say. I'm gonna try to go to bed, but before I go to bed, let me think of some, like, manifestations to say so I can think about them while I drift off. I am sexy and free. My ideas are good. People like listening to me talk. I have a really nice couch that I like. My friends love me. Everything always works out in the end. You will always have the palace of your mind. I will always have the palace of my mind. Treat your palace good and clean up. Not really a manifestation, just kind of a word of advice. Because it's your palace, bro. You gotta live in there. I love you. I am loved. Life can be really good. Sweet dreams.